Good morning. Welcome to live shopping here at Highlight Crafts. Isn't that collection beautiful? Did you get it? Good old gorgeous, isn't it? Absolutely stunning. Now in this hour, we've got something for people who own a laser printer, but not just that, because we've also got an inkjet printer on the show for you as well. We've got a cracking download. So you know, normally sometimes when we bring you the foiled sheets and they've got the patterns on, we've got some as a download, so you can download them whenever you want, as many times as you want. It's exciting, isn't it? But please don't think it's just about printing, because I'm going to show you some stuff on the Scan and Cut as well, which will be super cool. And Lily is going to demonstrate the printers for you. So we've got Lily demonstrating. We've got Emily on cameras. There she is. We've got Amber in the producer's seat.
Hello.
There you go. And we're going to have a fabulous hour, so stay tuned because we've got some really cool demos for you as well. Right, first of all, let me get the housekeeping out of the way. So here at Highlight Crafts, you can shop with us on live shopping in various different places. So YouTube, so if you want to put us on your TV, you can. You can also watch us on Facebook, on Instagram, and our website, which is highlightcrafts.com. So you've got lots of choices. If you want to shop with us on either Facebook or Instagram, we're going to show you a product, and that product will have a code. And all you need to do to purchase that is type the word shop and then that code into the comments underneath the video. In fact, if you look at the details on your screen now, you'll see the bold words. That's what you're going to type into the comments, and that will automatically pop it into a basket for you. Then what happens is you are sent a message, a direct message, and when you open that message, you'll find a link. Click the link, that will automatically take you to highlightcrafts.com. Log into your account. That's super, super, super important, because then you get your club member benefits, and then check out. And the sooner you check out, if it's a digital product, the sooner you can craft with it. If it's a physical product, the sooner we can pick and pack it and ship it to you. So the sooner you do that process, the sooner you'll receive your goodies. Now then, if you're like me, I like shopping on the website, because I can go into the website and have a sneaky look in the outlet and at all the different deals that are on there as well. So go to highlightcrafts.com, click watch live, press play, and as soon as that show starts to stream, all the items will appear down the right hand side of your screen. You then simply select the ones that you want to buy. They will go into a little red shopping bag that will appear at the top of your screen. When you're ready to check out, click on that and it will take you through that login and checkout process. Now then, if you don't want to miss anything, any of the shows, you have an option to type the word live into the comments, and that will give us permission to send you notifications before each show, so you don't miss any, because I know what it's like. I'm the same at home. I start doing jobs or crafting and I forget the time, and then I forget to watch the show. I know. So you can do that. And also, if you really don't want to miss out on any of the deals, I know a lot of you are doing this now, there's more and more of you starting to do this, you can shop ahead from midnight. So that's all the housekeeping out of the way. Right, I want to introduce you to our first product. Now, you're going to receive this as a digital download. They're JPEGs, so you can take them into Minecraft Studio, and you're getting a plethora of loads of different designs. Now, yesterday, these are the ones that you're going to print on your laser printer, okay? And that allows you to then foil these designs. And you don't even have to have the foiling machine. You can use a heat press or you can use a dry iron. So you don't need a piece of machinery to be able to use this. If you don't have a laser printer and you're not interested in purchasing a laser printer, there's nothing to stop you printing these out and colouring them in, or cutting them out, or whatever you want to do. Maybe you want to do that and you think, yeah, but I don't want to do all that colouring, Mel. Just do that one flower. It doesn't matter, does it? It's not just, these designs aren't just about foiling. You can use these for all sorts of different things. Now then, speaking of that, if you have a Scan and Cut and you scan that in, or that in, or that in, we can get it to cut it out. Think about using these with your foil pen, because that will be lovely. Your foil pen on that. Maybe you're going to put your film that you got yesterday, that magic film, and go around it with your foil pen onto the holographic film. There's so many different reasons to get a download like this. You've got beautiful sentiments in there as well. April showers bring May flowers. That's what my mum used to say. Then you've got my heart is with you. like the flower and the bee, great friends are we. That's lovely. And then these going to be going to be the wrong way around, are they? So you've got all of these. You've got florals. That I've got that foil somewhere. I have. Looks way up. It's all gone. Looks absolutely fabulous. Look at that flash of gold. Isn't that just spectacular? And the great thing about using a little iron or a heat press is that if you've got the foiling machine, which is brilliant, and it just does it, doesn't it? It just works. But sometimes if you've got little bits of black, even if you run it through it again, because the pressure doesn't change inside that machine, you can't get to those little bits. Whereas with a heat press or a dry iron, you can get right into the nitty gritty of it all, which is fab. I'll turn these around until the right again. So you've got your flowers on here. These are beautiful. Look at these frames. Now these wouldn't take much colouring in at all, would they? But then you can put your sentiment inside it and then print it off Minecraft Studio. We've got more here and so many different designs. I love these. I think they're really fabulous. Now look at these. These are going to be brilliant as well, aren't they? And because they are JPEGs, you can change the colour of these in Minecraft Studio. So if you didn't want them in such a dark black, you can lighten them and do all different things with them. But look at these as cutting files. Now, it might not pick up all the little images, but what you could do is take that and resize it in Minecraft Studio, create your cutting file that way, and then scan it in and cut it out. But these are just beautiful. You've got some really simple ones. I'm just going to flick through these and then we can get through them a bit quicker. But you've got all of these different frames. You've got sentiments in there. Knew where to start, back to front. Should have checked that, Melanie. It's all in the prep, love. And then you've got all of your sentiments in here. Now look at these. Now these you can foil. These you can scan in and create a cutting file. They're amazing, aren't they? Because you've got that opportunity to be able to do that. But if you haven't got a scan and cut, you can fussy cut them out. You can, once you foil them, they're super easy to cut out. And then you've got all your options. So you've got Christmas in there. You've got every day in there. You've got Christmas sentiments in there. Absolutely loads and loads of opportunity. And I love that. That you can make into a stencil. Or you could emboss it or foil it. Look at these, aren't they just beautiful? So if you are somebody that owns a laser printer, these you can print onto your regular cardstock because it's the toner that makes the foil bond to it with the heat. If you haven't, you can use these just as literally printable images and then you can go in and colour them in. Even if you just took something like, I don't know, like that background and just did a colour wash all over it. It doesn't have to be that difficult. And these, again, you can make them paler in Minecraft Studio. So it's a super opportunity to get a lot of artwork for a little. Imagine buying all of those as stamps. Can you imagine how much that would cost you? It'd be a small fortune, wouldn't it? And then, if you do have your laser printer, you can then foil them. How beautiful is that? And these have been done with the little mini heat press that we sell you on our shows. Look at that. I love foil. Now that, if you bought that as a piece of A4 card, you're looking over £1 for that. It's brilliant, isn't it? Love it. Right, let's move on now. So we're going to go to a Teflon mat. Now, if you saw us do the magic film yesterday, and it was magic, wasn't it? It was brilliant. Loved it. This is what we put over the top. And you'll need to do this as well when you're foiling with your heat press. Because if you don't, and you put your card down, then you foil, then you iron your foil, it's all going to stick to your iron. So you need one of these, okay? This is shop material. It's $9.99. It's A4 and it's a one-off purchase. Once you've got this, you'll never buy it again. I think it's fabulous, that. Love it. Right, now then, look at this. How lovely is this? I love Dinky. Look at that little ironing board. So if you're quilting, if you're a quilter, a sewer, heat transfer vinyl is going to be brilliant with this. You could even do some of the smaller designs on this as well, but how cool is that? I think that's brilliant. I want to start quilting. I know I keep saying this and I never have time, but I really, really want to use the scan and cut and make a quilt block. This is going to be brilliant at the side of your desk. Maybe you just want a little ironing board instead of getting the big iron out. You know, if you're ironing things like little ones, t-shirts or socks or whatever. I know I can hear you all going, I don't iron socks. I know my mum used to. She's dyeing face cloth. Mad, right? Anyway, each to their own. What? You're like your mum. I know, I think they're all brought up in a certain era, weren't they? When they had more time. So if you want that, my lovelies, hey, that's good. $14.99, I like that. Right, now then, we have some foils for you. And these are gorgeous. So these work with your toner foils, okay? So this isn't for your hot foil pen. This is for your toner. They're toner reactive foils. And you're getting, look at these, aren't they gorgeous? Shop Magic is going to get you 75, I'm going to say they're A4 sheets. Look at these. Now, some of these have got a little bit manhandled. Yours won't have these little flecks in them. They'll be pristine. But how beautiful are these? And you've got a really gorgeous range of colours, from like a very soft, gentle rose pink to your Christmas green. You've got your speciality ones in there. Look at that. Imagine a disco ball in that, right? And then you've got your holographics, and then you come into some more of your plains. You've got white in there, you've got royal blue, you've got silvers, you've got black, which is amazing, using the black. You probably could use these with adhesive. In fact, while Lily's doing the demo on the printers, I will try a bit on our tape. But you've got white in here. Now imagine that for on your acetate. So what if you took one of the designs, took it into Minecraft Studio, made the snowflakes smaller and put them all over a background, and then printed it onto printable acetate and then foiled with this over the top. You'd have your own snowflake acetate, snowfall acetate. Oh, look at that, how it wants to roll. Isn't it funny how different colours react in different ways? Oh, I'm obsessed with that now. I want to know why it does it. So all of those, 75 sheets, $29.99 before your discount. I'm not getting those back in that bag. I'm going to leave them there for Sam. She's good at that, our Sam. Right, next. Now then, we have some ironing cloths. This is going to protect your clothing or your foiling, I guess. Although I'm not going to lie, I just use my Teflon sheet. But this will protect your clothes. So if you've got anything with either your transfer paper on, your heat transfer vinyl on, maybe you've fabric painted something and you want to protect that. Our lovely Emily's got a sweatshirt on with a brand on today, but it will be that transfer paper. That's what they will have used, like a rubberized feel to it. You need to protect that. So having that over your clothes will make it, you're not going to scorch, are you? That's the main thing about it, because you don't want that, do you? There's nothing worse, is there? And then we get the iron and we scrape it off on the edge of the ironing board, don't we? I know, why do we do that? Shop cloth, you're going to get 2 for $8.99. Good gift that as well, I think. Maybe you've got kids going to university in the next couple of weeks. That's going to be good. I know, I can hear you going, yeah, as if they're going to iron the clothes, right? I know, but there you go. Now then, we also have toner pack. So this is brilliant. If you don't have a laser printer, these are just sheets of black. Okay, in fact, I'll open it up and show you. So we send these to a printer that has a big industrial laser printer, and they print them just black with the toner. So you can die cut these and then use your foils over the top. You can use it on your scan and cut, but what I will say is, because when the blade comes out of that housing at the bottom, sometimes that bottom of it can scratch it a little bit, and we don't want it to scratch. So dies are brilliant. You can do it on scan and cut, but I would make your blade depth, which is your cut amount, a little bit higher and take your pressure right back, so that the blade doesn't need to go right through to cut it. Well, no, that's not the right way of saying it. The blade, right, let me show you, because it's easier to show you. If you make that blade longer, like that, so the cut amount, so the blade depth longer, when it goes through there, this bit here, because this is the bit that can scratch it, this bit. So if you make your blade depth longer and take your pressure back, this bit isn't going to touch the top of the toner. So try that and see if that works. If you've still got a CM blade, it would be a good one to do with that as well, because you can adjust that. On your SDX, you'll do it as your cut amount, so how deep that blade is going through. But if you don't have a laser printer, you've no intention of buying a laser printer, you can still foil all your die cuts like this. Imagine some of those dies that we've just had in there foiled. Be amazing, wouldn't they? So if you want that, you've got 8 A3 sheets or 16 A4s if you cut it in half. Shop 8, £12.99. It's worth it. Right, now then, you said there was a question, didn't you? iPad. Right in front of me. Right, first of all, let's have a look. Let's find some questions. So, morning Mel, will there be paper based for foiling? You can foil on any card, darling. It's about the ink. So, Andrea, this is Andrea. So, Andrea, I've just printed onto our 250 pure print, just our regular pure print, on a laser printer and then foiled over the top. You don't need specialist paper unless you want the toner sheets, which is what I've just shown you. So these, if you haven't got a laser printer, this is the toner that's inside a laser, but just as a full block sheet. So you could then use all your dyes and then iron it on top with your foil, making sure you put your Teflon sheet over the top. I'll show you as we go through. Hope that answers your question, Andrew. If it doesn't, if I wasn't clear enough, please let me know, because I don't like anybody sitting there not knowing the answers. Right, Louise Mack, do you print onto card or paper on the laser printer? Is there a certain weight to use? Do you know what the maximum is, Lily?
So the maximum that I could get to print was about a 180, 200 GSM. So
okay.
I personally couldn't get the 250 to quite go through. So when I'm foiling, I'll tend to go for the 140, and that works an absolute treat.
Okay, and if that's not sturdy enough for you, print on your 140 and then glue it onto another piece of 140. So do the technique on the lightest paper, and then you can make it more sturdy if you want to. Thank you, Lily, for that.
No problem.
Right, question.
Ooh, lots
New
of
to
questions.
toner printing, where were the pre-printed pattern sheets toner ones, or do you need a toner printer to still print them off? Yes, you do. You need a laser printer to print them off, to be able to foil them. Okay, that's what this is about. You can just print them off on an inkjet and colour them if you want to. You could, in fact, I'll tell you what I would do with some of these. This, for example, because not everybody wants to spend money on a laser printer, do they? So if you have this and you print it off on 140 and you've got this on a light board, you'll be able to see through it. What you could then do is put another piece of 140 over the top, or a printable acetate, or a construction acetate, or a printable vellum, anything that's quite translucent or transparent, and then take your hot foil pen and trace over it. So if you've got the deal that we have, in fact, I wonder if that deal's still on. If it is, Amber, can you add it to the show for me? We did a deal where we could bring you the Craftmaster hot foil pen, which is blinking brilliant. But then we gave, which was $34.99. It comes with 2 different nibs and different foils. But then we gave you £40 worth of foil free. I don't know how we did it. So that's another way of doing it. I don't want anybody sitting there going, this show isn't for me, I can't do it. You can. Now, if you don't want to foil at all, suddenly you've got cutting files. So if you buy this, you can cut these out, or you can scan them in and save them as a file. So whichever way, whatever you're doing, there's something for you, which is great. Right, or you can treat yourself to a laser printer. I know, I think I'm going to have to do that. It's payday. It's payday next week, isn't it, for us? I think that's going on my payday list. I love this. Wendy Corbett said, I'm going to whisper this in case anyone's listening. Sorry, just had trouble getting a signal at work. Oh. Right, Lily, do you want to talk us around the printers, first of all? Then I'll demo the scan and cut side of it and the foiling with the high heat press. Yep. And then we'll come back to you and show them what Amanda came up with yesterday, because it was blinking brilliant, isn't it?
Absolutely. Wait till you see that. It's brilliant. I'm not going to show it you yet. I have got a sample, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later on. I'm going to share with you to start with the 2 different printers. Now, they're 2 different printers in terms of the way they actually print. So one is a toner printer that prints using toner, and then the other one is an inkjet printer. We'll start off with our toner printer, just because we've been talking all things foiling. So I think it makes a little bit more sense to start off with our laser printer. Now, this is absolutely fantastic. So pop your details on your screen there. That is Shop Laser, $169.99 for your fantastic printer. I wasn't just on the one, I was looking at the screen.
And its brother.
Yeah, which is
so you know the quality. It's brother. We have a brother A3 printer at home, and it's used all the time, and it never lets you down. It's brilliant.
It's fabulous. It's one of those, it's a brand that a lot of you guys will already have in your home.
Absolutely.
Whether you've got other printers, whether it's of course your Scan and Cut, it's a name that we know and love, and the quality will not let you down on this one. Now, the reason why we love this so much is because toner printing is a little bit different. Now, we've just been talking all things foiling. Now, of course, when you print out your designs, you can use them exactly as they are. Now, these will print out in black and white. It is a mono printer, but that gives us so many options in terms of our foiling. Now, it works on your A4 cardstock. Like we say, I've managed to print up to about a 200 GSM with this printer, but I tend to go for about a 140. I find that works absolutely brilliantly for all your printing on this particular printer. Now, the way that toner works is it allows you to do all your foiling. So if you've got either your tattered lace foiling machine, or if you've got your heat press or a dry iron, you can actually do all your foiling with these designs. Now, to get you started, because we highlight crafts and we like to give you a little treat, when you are going for that printer, when you go for that item code that's on your screen now, we are going to include for you a brand new free download, which is super, super exciting. Now, the download that Mel shared with you just a few moments ago, this is going to go hand in hand alongside that download, because this one is all about your sentiments. Now, of course, you could be printing these straight from your laser printer and using them just as they are here. It's going to give you a fantastic resource of lots of different sentiments, sayings, quotes, all of those lovely wordings that are going to be brilliant for lots of different projects, from car making to home decor. You can do it all with this collection. But the thing that makes your toner printing so special is the fact that when you use this alongside your foiling, you can actually turn every single one of these prints into a foil design, which is just incredible. So instead of buying all your pre-printed packs of your foiling sheets, you can now print your own using your fantastic laser printer, and you are getting a stack of these downloads.
You could use your digi-stamps as well, couldn't you?
Absolutely, you could.
So digi-stamps into MCS, create your own backgrounds, your own foiled items.
Absolutely.
How cool will that be?
So what we did, we had that fantastic collection in the last hour. All I did, nice and quick and simple, I took just one of those digi-stamps, popped it in the centre of a piece of 140 GSM card, printed it out and foiled it using that fabulous silver holographic.
Wow,
Isn't that amazing? Now, that could be onto your backgrounds. You could print your background
just hold
first.
it still, Lily. Just can't see the holographic on the screen. Let me just get it. So just try going a bit forward. There you go. Go on, let's get you going. There you are, your little horror. Come on. There you go. You see the holographic there? Now, it's a very fine, it's very delicate, that. I love that.
It's incredible.
If we can get right in on that, look how delicate those lines are. But it's still picked it up. I mean, they are literally pencil lines, aren't they? They're so narrow, but how fabulous is that? I love that.
It's amazing.
Now, one thing I will say is if you're colouring in your foiled designs, don't use alcohol markers.
Absolutely. So,
because it'll pull, because it's solvent, and it'll pull the colour out of the foil. Use a water-based medium.
Absolutely. So they'd be brilliant if you've got your things like watercolour paints, pens, pencils. If you print your design onto your watercolour card or paper to start off with, foil it in whatever colour you want, whether it's going to be a holographic black, any of the colours you want to go for. And then if you're using a water-based medium over the top, it will act as almost like a resist, which is going to give you amazing effects.
Right, Lily, can you talk us around the printers themselves?
Absolutely.
So, if anybody's sitting at home going, oh, I'm going to treat myself.
Now, you are going to love. So first of all, our inkjet printer, your laser printer, which is what we've been looking at to start with. Super easy to use. At the front there, you do have your feed. So I'll pop a piece of paper in just to show you how easy it is to feed your paper. You've got your little slots either side, which you can move forwards and backwards, so it's exactly the right width for your cardstock. And all you're going to do, will move that lead out the way. You take your paper and you just feed it up into that slot there until it won't feed in any further, and that's your paper in there ready to go. Now, I just recommend just one piece of paper at a time. Feed that through, and then when you're ready to print your next sheet, you can pop that back into there. It's super easy to print, and it prints really, really quickly as well. So the printer paper goes in that bottom section, and then when it prints, it actually comes out that top area there, and it comes out really, really quickly. So if you are batch making, it's really quick to print with this fabulous printer. Now, of course, you do get all the guides included as part of your kit here. So within the box, you'll get all your setup guides. I mean, we did it in the office. It's nice and easy to do. And the brilliant thing is as well, you get a little QR code and a web address link. If you click on that or scan it with your phone, it actually takes you to video tutorials on the Brother website, which makes it even easier to set up, which is brilliant. And that's pretty much it in terms of setting it up. You'll connect it to your laptop or your computer or whatever you're using it alongside, and you are ready to start printing. It is amazing. But all of these beautiful designs that you're getting included for absolutely nothing, you can be printing on your fantastic laser printer and then foiling. So every print that you are sending through that printer can now become a foiling design, which I think is just incredible. You're really starting to manufacture your own resources, your own tools that you can use for all your projects. Now, can you imagine, of course, these are files that we're given to you, but of course, if you've got something like Minecraft Studio or even just a word processing document, you can be typing exactly what you want. So it could be an order of service, it could be a menu for your Christmas dinner. You can type that out, you can print it off using your laser printer, and then you can foil over the top, which I think is just amazing. Can you imagine all the menus for your wedding, all of your RSVPs you could be printing and then foiling? It is incredible. The options are endless, and that is why we love our laser printer so much. So that one is Shop Laser, $169.99, and of course that is before your club discount.
So you'll get your discount back, then you'll get your points for every one of those pounds. I know, so that's going to add up really quite quickly, isn't it? And of course there won't be any postage. Now, I know it's a considered purchase, I get that. But the number of times we get asked about, can you bring us a laser printer? And we started with black and white. The colour ones are very, very, very expensive. And we wanted to bring you, a bit like we did with the, words, Melanie, it'll come to me in a minute, sublimation, a little bit like that, where we brought you, or the heat press, where we bought you an industrial one. We didn't want to go out and find a cheap printer that might last a couple of years and then it's done. This is Brother that we're talking about now. So if you're interested in being able to make your own sheets, it might be something that you scan in, it might be a drawing that you've scanned in. Scan it in, print it off on your laser printer, then you can foil it. Imagine all your inserts and your Christmas cards foiled this year. As soon as you put foil anywhere near a project, it increases the price. So that's something for you to think about, because I think it's a fantastic piece of kit, and I'm definitely going to get one because I think it's brilliant. Right, we'll come back to the inkjet printer in a little while, but I just want to show you this, because this for me was a little bit of a game changer. 3:30 this morning, and it's always 3:30. So yesterday I printed it and I foiled it, and then I scanned it in, and it found some bits and not others. So what I thought I'd do is scan the black image in, save the cutting file, then foil it, then cut it out. Does that make sense? So when you look on a sheet like this, there are a couple of places. These are absolutely fine. If you look at this one here, there's a gap there, and then there's gaps all the way up those little dots. All you need to do to make the scan and cut, find that, is join those dots. Dot to dot. I haven't done dot to dot for years.
I used to love that, Mel.
Me too. And then you'll see there's a little gap there. So what it would do is see it, but then it would come in and cut that out. So we're just going to fill in that. And I'm just using a grey fine liner. Now, obviously, this isn't going to foil, but it's minimal. So I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to do the same on that one. I think that would probably be all right because the circles are touching. And then I think we're good on the rest. So I'm going to scan it in. We're going to save it as a cutting file. Then I'm going to foil it. And then we're going to scan it in and cut the foil bits out. This is standard for me. I'll pick that up in a bit. You don't need to see me picking that up. Right, so I've just retacked this mat, so it's super sticky. And I'm just going to burnish these down. So because we're scanning to save it as a cutting file, we're going to scan to cut data. So we're going to load the mat in. I need to clean my cutting strip. That's shocking, Melanie Heaton. I'll do that when we come off air. So we're going to scan, and we're going to scan to create cutting information or files. So we're going to scan from there. I'm doing it in grayscale because it's black on white, so there's enough contrast. And then I'm just going to press start. When that comes back, it will bring up the outside edges of all those baubles. And then we can save that file. And then we'll do the fun bit of foiling it. It's really exciting. Right, so it's going to recognise that now. So while it's recognising, I'm going to bring in this board. So David did these printers on Saturday, and I said, right, did you iron it on an ironing board? He went, no, a glass mat with a t-shirt over it.
Of course. What else?
Because the material on a t-shirt is thin, and you need that, you just need the stability of a solid surface. And this works perfectly, because I said, could I put fabric on it? He said, honestly, Mel, the t-shirt was the best thing I used. There you go. Cheap t-shirt, an old one, you know, one that needs to be thrown out. Or charity shop, go and pick one up at a charity shop. So I've just got a glass mat tucked into, and I tuck it inside? No, I just wrapped it round that t-shirt. Right, so now it's brought up the images. We need to tell it what we want it to do. So we want it to just do the outside edge. So it will do that, but it's also found all those cut lines. So you could use a scanning mat if you wanted to, but I just do that. Right, so we're going to preview it now. One thing I will say to you is get yourself a piece of 12 by 12 white card and do your scanning cutting position alignment first, okay? Because that will mean then that when it cuts, it will cut evenly on either side. I'm going to save it to my machine. It's just something I always do before I'm scanning in something like this to cut it out. Because sometimes over time, if you want a millimetre all the way around, it can come in slightly on this side and over slightly on that. The scanning cutting position alignment will align it back on the X and Y axis, so it'll be perfect. Right, so that's file number 17. So I can take this out now. I don't need to worry about that because it's saved into my machine's memory. Okay, save it onto USB, whatever you prefer. So let's take this off here now and let's foil it. And this is super, super easy to do. So I'm going to bring in this. This is one of the designs that you're going to get in your set. I'm going to grab a piece of foil. Let's do, choices. There's no point me doing black because you won't be able to see it. Let's have a look if we can do copper. Yes, we can. So I'm just going to put a whole sheet right across the top. I've got two. So I'm just going to lay that over the top of there, like that. I'm going to make sure that my heat press is on. Just make sure that that's hot. That needs to go back up to about 180 degrees. But the most important thing is that you put this over the top, because if you don't, you'll have a foiled iron. And nobody wants a foiled iron. So we're going to let that come up to temperature. That's going to take a little while. So while it's doing that, I just want to show you this. So these are some of the ones that I foiled and then cut out. So I asked it to do a 2mm border on that one. So I had a whole sheet with the peonies down one side, and then down the other side, it had all of these little embellishments. Now, can I mean, I don't know, honestly, the scan and cut never ceases to amaze me. Look how it's cut right to the edge of that. Because I didn't add an offset line on, it's cut right to the edge of that foiling. Look at the little tiny intricate detail down there. Now, we have a deal on at the moment on the SDX 1200. It's my machine of choice, I love it. I mean, I love all of them, and it's just, you know, there's extra little things like there's extra images inside, but it doesn't matter which scan and cut you've got, whether you've got the original one or whether you've got the Disney one or whatever one you've got, it makes no difference. But that is because I did that scan and cutting position alignment before I actually cut it out. And then what I did on one sheet, so you have the sheet of all the peonies down here, and then you have a border of these at the side. I didn't want an offset on there because they were close together, so it would have overlapped and it wouldn't have looked right. But I wanted an offset on these. So I just isolated certain areas. I isolated the peonies and put an offset line on, and then didn't do it on the others. So there's ways round doing what you want to do. Right, let's say we're 175. I'm sure that'll be perfect. So what I do with this is, I remember watching my dad wallpaper. Whenever he put a piece of wallpaper on the wall, he'd come down the middle first and get that nice and flat, and then it'd go out from the sides. So you're going to iron slower than this. I'm just getting that foil starting to bond, and I'm pushing out those air bubbles, okay? And we're just going to go all over it like this and just give it a little bit of heat. And then we're going to go back in and be a little bit more precise. And I like to just wiggle it like that. There's a song there, isn't there? Can't remember who sang that. Wiggle it just a little bit. Was it the Cheeky Girls? Can't remember. No, there's no point asking anyone in here. They probably weren't alive when the Cheeky Girls were around. So we're doing this, and we're just starting to press this down. Now, you can have a peek and see how you're getting on. If you overheat it, it will pull the foil and melt it. Look at that. And if you look carefully, you can almost see the shapes of those images coming through that Teflon sheet. Peel this back, you can definitely see it. Just check. Can you see I didn't go far enough down there? Now, the great thing about that is I can go back with a little bit more pressure. So I'm in control of how much pressure I'm putting on that foil, which is brilliant. You don't need to treat yourself to a heat press if you don't want to. You can use a dry iron, but you want to work on a solid surface. So if you've got a glass mat, that's perfect. Just, I wouldn't try a tea towel or anything like that. I'd just get an old t-shirt because it works. Right, let's get this. Oh, hands. There we go. And there, now you've got your full sheet of your foiled baubles. Now you could take that and put it on one of your black toner sheets and iron that. Now you will get a very distressed finish because of the way, can you see how it's crinkled across there with the heat? But it's lovely. And I think when you see it as a whole big sheet, it's a bit like, I'm not sure about that. When you die cut it, looks magnificent. In fact, I'll tell you what it will be brilliant with, those patina sprays. If you're doing a project with those, you'll get the opposite, won't you? Complete opposite from that rust to that metallic, and it will be fabulous. Right, let's do the next bit now so that you can see this, and then I'm going to get Lily to show you that demonstration on those printers. So I'm just going to pop this underneath here, out of the way. I'll just turn it off a minute. Right, so now what we're going to do is take our mat again, and we're now going to scan this in. Now it's a little bit warm, so just let it go cool. Stick it onto your mat, like so. Take a piece of copy paper and then burnish it. Okay, you don't want to be burnishing on that foil because it'll scratch it. So now you've got that burnished down. We're not scanning this in now so that we can see it and cut it out. Although I think it might even do that. We'll have to have a check. Because it sees metallic as black. But there were some little areas that it wasn't quite picking up, which is why I did it differently. So we're going to retrieve the information from the machine's memory. We're going to scroll down, and there it is, number 17. Okay, so now we've got, yeah, it is, that's the baubles, isn't it? Yeah. You're going to got all your baubles there together. Now then, edit, multiple select, everything on the mat. Press OK, go back to Object, Edit, and group it. Now, if you want to create an offset line on here, you can do it on an SDX. If you were going to do it on a CM machine, you'll have to send that file into Canvas, grouped, and ask it to create a 1mm offset line all the way around, and then send it back. Don't move the file, okay, because that's the easiest way. So if I then scan this back in, so that I can see it and make sure it's lined up perfectly, because I might put my card in a slightly different place. It will then go ahead and cut those out, and I'm going to ask it to do it with a 1mm border. But the best thing is, once you've done one with a 1mm border like this, you can then create another matte layer from the matte layer file at 2mm and get your matte layers as well. So you're printing it, you're foiling it, you're scanning it in, you're cutting it, and then you're creating your mats and layers. Isn't that brilliant? Right, so let's have a look at this. So I've recalled the actual file itself. I've grouped it together. All I'm going to do now is zoom right in. And you can see there, look how it's picked up those little teeny tiny dots because I put a line through them. And then we can scroll down, all the way down, and every single one of those will be lined up perfectly. I might just nudge it up one little space. And then I'm going to ask it to do a 1mm border. So Object, Edit, go to your concentric circles, take that down to 1mm, press OK. The original will always be the one that stays selected. So you can just put that in the bin because you've already saved it, and then we just press cut. And that's it. Please select, cut, and then start. And while that's doing that, I'm going to get Lily to talk you around the inkjet printer because it's A3, which is fabulous. We have an A3 inkjet at home and I use it all the time if I'm printing off papers. But don't forget to pop this into your basket because this download, if you have got a laser printer, is absolutely fabulous. If you haven't got a laser printer, you've just got an inkjet, you might want to use these in Minecraft Studio. So I took that into one of the frames by cropping this in my craft studio and laying it in the aperture. So it's an opportunity to get that as well. And there's nothing to stop you printing these off on an inkjet, putting them on your light board and going over them with your hot foil pen. Just gives you more options with the tool that you've already got, which is great, right? Right, Lily, do you want to talk us around the A3 printer? Show us what's where and what we need to do, please.
Absolutely. So this is amazing because you can print all the way up to A3, and the thing that makes this even more special is it'll actually print borderless on A3. So if I bring in this piece of A3 paper here, this is a full sheet of A3. We've not trimmed it down afterwards, and it is literally edge to edge to edge.
Wow.
On all four sides. How rare is it that you can get a printer that will actually print truly borderless? It is incredible. So that's one onto your normal paper, but how about printing all of your own A3 rice papers edge to edge? So all of those lovely downloads that you've been collecting over the years, all those beautiful artworks that you can print off onto your rice paper, you can do them true A3 all the way to the edge of that.
Artwork is beautiful.
Isn't it stunning? It's absolutely beautiful, and all of those are now ready for you to use. So if you want to do your larger projects, your home decor, you've got the ability to go large with your A3 printer, which is just amazing.
Something else, when you print on that inkjet printer on your rice papers, it doesn't bleed.
No.
I don't know why.
No.
But it doesn't bleed. So if you've got a normal inkjet printer and you're struggling because it's bleeding on your rice papers, this printer doesn't bleed. It's like printing it on our industrial fabric printer in the warehouse. It doesn't move that colour at all, which is incredible, isn't it?
It is.
And borderless as well. Now I might have to have this one instead of the laser.
Wow. It's one of those
just to be able to do things like that.
So as part of this deal, your shop inkjet, but of course, we've got to throw in a little freebie. I say a little freebie. It's a fantastic collection of free downloads that you've got to go alongside your printer. Now, of course, you could be printing these smaller A4, or you could be printing them all the way up to your A3, whether it's going to be paper or your rice paper. They are going to look incredible. So we've got a few different collections of your different styles and themes of artwork, and we start off with our beautiful backgrounds. Now, you've got everything from the most gorgeous, realistic looking patchwork all the way through to watercolour wash style backgrounds, giving you a lovely head start on building your library of your digital design. So you can all be printing using your fantastic A3 inkjet printer. Then we move on to a little bit of something for Christmas. So that beautiful design there that you just saw in A3 format, you do get included for absolutely nothing when you are going for shop inkjet. Then you move on to our florals. Can never go wrong with your beautiful florals, and you get a lovely array of designs there you can be printing to your heart's content and taking into my craft studio as well. Then perfect designs here for printing onto your rice papers, whether it's going to be A4 or all the way up to your borderless A3. You've got all of those included for absolutely nothing. Then we move on to our scenes, always super useful when you're bringing in perhaps your die cuts, your stamped images. You can start to really build up those scenes and tell those stories. And then finally, you're getting all your textures as well. Can you imagine these sorts of designs blown up to your A3 paper? They would look incredible. And that's just something you're getting included for nothing as part of this collection with your printer. But when you bring the two printers together, this is where it starts to get super, super exciting. So all you're going to do is you're going to take, whether it's going to be a paper, your rice paper, you're going to print your design, your background first using your inkjet printer. And then you're going to go back over with a slightly different design, whatever design it might be. It might be the designs that you're actually getting for free with your laser printer. You'll print that off with your laser printer, you'll foil it, and you get that absolutely beautiful printed and foiled designs. They look incredible. And if you were to buy this sort of thing in the shops, you will be paying a premium for printed and foil designs. They are absolutely exquisite. All that beautiful foiling over the top, and you can be creating this time and time again at home using your printers. And that's why they're such a perfect pairing to go for both your inkjet and your laser. They work hand in hand but stand alone as well. They're absolutely incredible. I mean, I can't get enough of this design. The fact that it's edge to edge, no border whatsoever, true A3. And how many times can we stand here and say it is true edge to edge? So if you're doing things like your home furnishings, your home decor, big piece of furniture, you've got the ability to do that with absolute ease with your A3 printer. It is a must-have, and it's just going to open up a whole new world of possibilities in your crafting.
Okay, so maybe you have a laser printer already and you're ready to invest in an A3 inkjet, we have an A3 inkjet, and I wouldn't go back to an A4 now, especially because of that kind of thing that you can do. There's nothing worse than buying limited. I don't like being limited, especially in size. I like the fact that you can print borderless like that. So you can, all that beautiful artwork that we've brought you, you can now print that in borderless A3 on your inkjet printer, and it will not bleed. Now I know again it's a considered purchase, but if you consider how much if you're buying the pre-printed rice papers from us, and you start, I mean, even though we do them at a really good price, I mean a silly price because we print them in house, over the years that's going to add up. Now you can do your own and they won't bleed. You'll get that quality print that we get on our industrial fabric printing machine, which is what we print our rice papers on. It's incredible that to get that in your home is fabulous, and I love the idea of having that. I'm just going to show you this and then how to create another offset, and then Lily's going to show you how when you can print on your inkjet and then foil on your acetate with your laser. So if I just unload this now, I haven't moved it since we went to Lily, and I'm just going to pull this back. This is like the most satisfying thing ever. Look at that. Now you've also got a stencil. Okay, so you could be building, if you've got some little teeny tiny stamps, you know, like the ones that Cardio do, you could use that as your base and start filling in. But every single one of those has cut perfectly. Now, to create a matte layer for that, it couldn't be easier. You're going to go back into Edit or into Canvas Workspace if you're on a CM, and you're just going to increase that by another 1 mil, or however wide you want it to be. Remember, the original will always stay selected, so we can pop that in the bin, and then you could cut that out of something like your mirror card and then lay that on top of your mirror card, and you've got a perfect matte layer. It's brilliant, isn't it? And the fact now that you can print them on your laser printer or on your inkjet and scan them in and cut them out. I love that. And the JPEG, so you can take them into Micro Studio and play around as well. So yesterday I wanted one of the sentiments but in one of the frames, but it's the sentiments on the whole page. So I just cropped it, brought it down and in, and then positioned that inside the frame and then printed it off. There's so many options. And like I say, you might not be sitting there thinking, oh, I need a A3 inkjet printer. But now you've seen it's borderless, and now you know it prints those rice papers and it doesn't bleed. Amazing, right? Think of all those papers for your scrapbooking and your home decor and your mixed media and your MDF. New MDF. Now then, here's a thing. We're bringing new MDF on Saturday. There was a couple of pieces I had to cut on an A3. I had to print on an A3. It will work on a 12 by 12 piece of card, but I couldn't get it out of an A4. So I printed a couple of the pieces. So we're going bigger with our MDF. I'm hoping eventually we're going to get that one that all pulls out with all the drawers in. So having that A3 printer, whether it's inkjet or laser, doesn't matter, will give you that ability to get that wider space, which I love. I think that's fabulous. Right, so if you want the download, I'm just going to flick through this for you again. This is a cracking deal, guys. You're getting hundreds of images in here. So you're getting all of these beautiful designs that if you have a laser printer, you can print off, and the toner, and then heat press the foil on top, either with a mini heat press or a dry iron. Don't use a steam iron. You need a dry iron. You need something that's got a completely flat base, so that every part of that base of that iron is touching that foil and putting it onto here. You've got Christmas designs in here as well. All of these, look at these. Now this background, now you could just isolate that and have that as a cutting file. Honestly, I looked at this yesterday and I was like, okay, we're getting downloads and we're getting sentiments and patterns, etc., etc. Once I looked at it with a scan and cut, I was like, this is flipping brilliant, right? You don't need to go out and buy foiled embellishments ever again. But also things like this. So if I was at home and I had no printers whatsoever, or I'd just got an A4 inkjet printer, I'd print these off on the copier paper, put a piece of 140 peel print over the top with your foil over in between the two, and then trace over it with your hot foil pen, because that'll be amazing. So don't just think, I haven't got a laser printer, this show's not for me. It can be, if you want it to be. I could scan that in And I've got a brand new cutting file then for my scan and cut in hundreds of different sizes. It's worth $19.99 of anybody's money, that, isn't it? To be able to do those different techniques. Right, Lily, we're going to have to be quick with this, my love.
We absolutely are.
Didn't realise we were that far into the show. I thought we were like at 50 then.
Absolutely flown by. Right, so let's get cracking.
Yes, please.
So I'm going to start off by actually showing you how to load your paper or whatever material you're printing onto. So we're going to start off with our inkjet. So I'm just going to whip around the side.
Yeah, you're going to do what you need to do.
So at the back is where you're going to load your A3. However, in this instance, we're using our A4. So we actually load our A4 around the front here. So you've got a little drawer that literally just pulls out of here. And you can take that fully out, making it really easy to fit your paper or material into. Now here we've got a piece of our printable acetate. Now you do have two sides. You have a slightly smoother side, which I can feel is the underside, and that top side is the rough side. Now with this being inkjet, we want to print onto that smooth side. So the way that this one works is whatever surface is underneath, it will print onto, whereas the laser is a little bit different. So because we want to print onto the smooth, we want that smooth side on the underside there, touching that paper. And we're literally just going to slip that into there just like so, and then we can place that back into our printer just like that, and then we can pull out that little section there, so it's got an area where it can rest as it comes out of that printer. Now we're going to go on to Minecraft Studio, and we're just going on to our lovely Nursery Rhymes Volume 1. Now for some reason all my icons aren't coming up, so we'll have a little look on here and choose whichever one we want to go for. Let's go for number 14. So we'll just scroll on through and bring up number 14, or try to, onto our sheet there. I'm not quite sure why that's frozen. Let's do. Oh no, not responding.
It hasn't loaded yet. It's you're asking it to do it too quick. There you go.
There we now we've got two.
Like me, that.
I know. Come on, hurry up. We've got stuff to do. Right, so we've got that on our sheet there. Now all we need to do at this point, we're going to go into print, and then first of all we're going to find the printer. Now the one that we're printing onto here is our MFC, Brother MFC printer there. So let's just click on that one, and that's going to then connect to our printer. Just having a little think about it, and then once that's ready, we'll press on print, and it will print our design onto our printable acetate.
Okay.
It's taking quite so long.
So it's all right when we've done that bit.
Should be switched on unless it's turned itself off.
Might gone to sleep. Brother tend to let their machines go to sleep.
That go great. It's definitely plugged on.
Have a look. Take the lead at the back, Lily.
Yeah, fine.
Plug.
Looks around there.
Don't know. It's not switching on though. Something's not. Oh, listen, look what I've just found. USB port.
Oh.
USB port on your A3 printer. Right, why is that not switching in? Which is the plug? Sorry, I'm coming underneath here. That's why it's not in properly. There you go.
Right.
Right,
is it on?
it's on now. Yeah, it's gone. There you are.
Brilliant. Right, there we
It
go.
sends you a song. Look at that.
Oh, they say it's quite a nice little tune there, isn't
Right,
it?
you can scan in your images on your scan and cut. Put your USB in there, and it'll print from that. Boom!
Cool.
I'm definitely having this now.
Mm.
That's it.
Need.
That sold it for me. Is there a USB on the laser one?
Oh, let's have a look.
I'm coming down here. Sorry. Let's have a look. No, I don't think there is. I think you probably get them on their A3 printers. Oh, that was good timing. There you are, love.
There you go. Right,
Have a
so
print.
first of all,
Sorry,
we have
I'm
got,
blocking
we're getting
you.
rather excited here. Let's pop
Good
a piece
though.
of paper underneath, and you can see there, because we've printed onto the smooth side, that is not coming off whatsoever. So we've got that good to go. Then I'm going to come back around the other side. I do apologise. And all we're going to do is going to feed
Got
this
a minute and a half, Lily.
our printer. So this one is going to print on the side that's facing up. So we just pop our acetate into there. Then we'll come back around onto the computer here. Then all we'll do is we're just going to go into text. We're going to type our text. So let's just go for something nice and quick. Hello. That'll do. We'll position that exactly where we want that on our image. So we're leaving that topper in place where it was before. Once we're happy with that, where that's positioned, we can delete our topper itself because we don't need to print that again. Then we can go on print, find our other printer. So the one that we are printing this time is our DCP. So we click on our DCP, that is thinking about it, and then we're going to press print, and that's going to feed our acetate through, and it'll come out of the top super quick, and then you can foil it.
And then you can foil it. So
Absolutely.
you can print your images on your inkjet printer and then foil them on our printable acetate. Now, if you don't want to buy a laser printer, you could still do that, but you could trace over it with your hot foil pen.
Absolutely.
But I love the idea of having that. For me, I was going to buy the laser printer. Now I'm like, I need this because it's borderless.
Absolutely. So
there you are, it's doing its thing. We've got
like.
17 seconds, Lily.
Come on, oh, nearly fill out the side, there you go. So we'll bring that one in. All you'll do is you'll pop a little piece of foil over the top. So we've cut a strip ready. You'll do exactly the same technique that Mel showed you with ironing.
Right.
And then you'll end up with something that looks a little bit like that. How
Lizzie,
cool is that?
Lizzie's asking for a link. Just go into Highlight Crafts. Can you put a link in the chat for her, Amber, please? Thank you. We'll do that for you. Sorry I didn't get to answer many of your questions.
Oh,
it was a bit manic, that show, wasn't
it? Was.
Through there now is next.
Sublimation.
Sublimation blanks. Oh, new Christmas ornaments.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and I will see you at 12 with Lily for Half Price My Craft Studio. I'm going to demonstrate for you. How exciting is that? See you in a bit. Bye.